Hi, Libra. All right, well, firstly, I have to apologize. I'm sorry, I forgot about you. I'm actually, I have, why can't I just say it? It's because I didn't want people to judge me. That's why I didn't want to say something. Let me open the window. Okay, so November, it was just your birthday. I hope that's been going good. Let's get her hair out of her face so we can focus. Do you do that? Like when you put your hair up, you're ready to go, you know? Okay. So, a few things. I just saw Juno. Juno's moving out of your sign and into Scorpio. So that could be significant. The South Node has also been there, so I forgot to mention that over on that video, but that's pretty powerful. And I want you to know that this pull on you that's felt draining. I know some of you, this has come through certain things being pulled away from you. It happens when the South Node goes through any sign and wherever it is. But it's a healthy thing because it helps us to come back into what we're thankful for, right? Because we're still alive, we're still here, we're still kicking, right? Hopefully all of us have shelter, clothes on our back, food in our belly, right? So I don't know if you want to pause right here, and I heard even if you've done this today, like maybe pause right here and tap in really to what you're grateful for. Okay. I guess we'll begin. So we're going to choose from the Sufi Tarot. First, and then we'll choose from the Gareth Knight Tarot, which this deck is very old. The Sufi deck is very new, right? Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Let's choose from Sufi first. You know that part we were talking about where it's like a person doesn't want to share something or tell somebody something because they don't want to feel like there's an undercurrent of like, I'll feel judged or it'll cause a rift or what have you. What if and I see in certain circumstances you try that, and or I'm seeing where someone tries this, they get over that little hump and get to the next stage where they actually say whatever it is, and then they realize like, oh, wait a second, I just received so much support by saying this. So communication could be something that could really change something, and it doesn't have to be much of it. Okay. Sufi, what does Rumi want to tell us? Let's go to him. I know he's not the only Sufi, but okay. I need a sip of tea. When something outside of us feels big, try to come back into that thank you for right now. Like when I just took that sip of tea, this card made me kind of worry. It reminded me of something old, very old. I'd like to explain this non-astrologically, but this is just the way it's coming through. I'm seeing again that Juno, which is all our relationships, family, our children, our spouse, our business partners, our other co-workers, like everybody else. And the South Node has been there, which is pulling that out. Now, to me, South Node is also other lifetimes and our past lives, our history. This could be bloodline, it could, however you define it for yourself. The point being is that as you're last on the roster, you're put in the, to me, you go in the 12th house. So this is Pisces house. This is a place of prisons, a place of hospitals, a place of, there are places where you kind of like go in and you're like, all right, if I go in here, I don't know if I'll ever get out. You know what I'm saying? They might, well, maybe if I say something, they'll lock me up. I heard they'll call me crazy. They'll lock me up. They'll throw away the key. They'll call me crazy. What's you? So the point is that I guess this reading is going to be around, because this is actually the third time that I'm recording it. The way that the messages is coming through in the Scorpio time for you, in this 12th place, is that this time is offering you space and time to take care of some things that are maybe have been left behind. And I'm seeing the word unconscious. So I guess one way to do that would be to rest and to sleep. When you're sleeping, you may be more tired during this time frame. I heard take advantage of that. Don't feel guilty. But if it's a constant, side note, but if it's a constant thing where there feels like, again, this fatigue, because there's some things we just can't push. This year is an 8 year. It's a Saturn year. It's been hard for everybody. You're exalted. Saturn is exalted in your sign, which means that you're and the South Node there, like you're kind of in some ways been taking the brunt, or Libra through everyone's map has been taking a bit of brunt of things. Right, they're sort of, Saturn's kind of like these hard edges, and it's an 8, so no matter what way, we come back around to where we were, and it's like, okay, how do I want to work with it now? Is it about accepting it? What can I do possibly to change it? Okay, let's open up the second one. There we go. Look at this card. Look how happy she is. She's like in bliss for what she has, for what is around her. The 9 of coins and then the Malika of coins, which is the Queen. Let's read this 9 of coins. This is to me one of your cards, one of your bigger lessons. Not sure why. I tend to start books from the back to front or right to left. This 9 of coins says this. When this card appears, you are being asked to consider what enriches your spirit. As you become ready to reap the rewards of your hard effort and self-discipline, it might be worth asking yourself what enhances your experience of abundance. Richness of the spirit does not come from money. Rather, it comes from a form of culture that brings color to our routines. Music, poetry, art, and then I saw someone decorating. It says, as Hazrat Inayat Khan, states, both nature and art are made of the same artist, or made by the same artist, nature and art. Nature is made directly by the artist. Art is the finishing of that beauty, which begins to manifest itself in nature. A person who has not yet come to this conception of art does not yet know the divinity of art. Interesting. How do you allow the divinity of the artist's, and this is a capital A, the artist's work to enrich your life, the creator's work? Right? The creator just made the wind blow and had the wind chimes hang in that tree. So again, that's sort of part of what I saw in this decorating. So you want to make wherever you are as cozy as can be. Haven't we been talking about this? And when have you ever lived, some of you, I don't know if this is your childhood bedroom, but it's a room, it's basically a room that holds like a bed, and that's your space. Maybe some of you live in a studio apartment, or you've lived in a space, you want to think back like that. And what could you see around you then? What can you see around you now? I know it's not quite the season of it for most of us here, but eating fruit could also be helpful for quieting the mind. Like maybe it's more vegetarian diet could be of service to your body to enrich your spirit some way. It's kind of where I guess what I'm seeing is that someone's becoming more conscious and aware of, all right, when I connect with this, when I take in this, it takes me this long to deal with that. Okay. Your money about worry will be better. What did we say? What did we say? I'm seeing the word innocent. Some of you had a really mean mother, and that's what messes with you. Like the things that she said, or the way that she handled things. This could just be like a really powerful, it's a powerful female. It's also people who have said unnice things about you. But then I also saw where someone recognized, regardless of that situation, that they have their own kind of, this reminds me of that Gemini reading, the warden in your mind. And this is like a mean warden. So a person's getting to know like who their friends are. Also, I guess some of you could be considering a new means of because you have a lot of earth here. Look to your third house. What are we talking about? Communication and talents. Writing, the talent of writing, the talent of speaking, the talent of learning, or dedication to learning. I feel like a person finds what they're looking for. They find what they're looking for. Somebody else is going through the same thing as you right now. That's nourishing. Or, I guess we talked about that. Someone has enough for something. What's that about? All will be provided in its right time. I have food in my belly. I have clothes on my back. I have a place to rest my head. Let me enjoy this time. Some of you decide to also, so someone decides here, I see, to invest a lot of something. And it's actually a really good investment. It's paid back, or it pays itself back. It's replenishing. I saw, don't compare yourself to others. Mout. This is the death card in this deck. I love this card. What's this one? Ten of Swords. I saw this in your other reading. Maybe I'll post that one if it's still around on Patreon. I don't know. I just don't want to overwhelm this space with too heavy of things. But Leo's reading talked a lot about grieving. Your other reading, your second reading, talked a lot about grief, and particularly this fire sign. This could also just be when air and fire don't work well together, and it's like the head's too hot. And then I saw where there was like a light that went into someone's head, and then that caused like a beam out. There was like a crystal there, or crystal within, and it like causes a beam. So if you give yourself time and you focus, you can figure out what I mean. Okay. What are you learning about right now, too? You have Princess of Discs with the Nine of Earth and the Judgment card. So some of you, that's another, I didn't think about that. Nice. This could also show this time frame, or whenever you tap into this, it's like, well, my readings take longer. It's not a today thing necessarily. It usually takes years because I have Earth in our connective space, so it's slow going. Even though this part seems fast when we're talking, the actual physical thing of it being fully accomplished and then emotionally worked, like understood, there's bigger steps with this, right? So you have a hidden talent that you don't know about also, even though you already do it, but you don't know that it's an opportunity for you. Like, you don't know how to work it yet necessarily, or if you've already figured this out. I don't know what this hand motion is, but it's like, maybe that's what this year was about, is what did you learn about this year, right? Your birthday just happened. It's not about sitting in the past. It's just really gander in there, like, what did you do differently? What did you stay dedicated to that is still providing to you? Not because one is wanting to be taking, but just the fact that, like, it's sustaining you, right? It's a means of perhaps putting food on your table, clothes on your back, giving you a place to rest your head. Okay. I keep looking down at this, what's up with her? Hold on a second. I don't never really shuffle like that. It's interesting. 9 of Swords. Dude. I heard there's a mean bitch in your head. Like, again, this is, because this shows me someone getting out of the prison, and I actually saw this vision when we were up top, where there was a lock with a chain and like cuffs, and someone they unlocked it, but the lock itself was still, it had been there so long that it was rusty to the chain itself, which was holding the cuff in place, which stopped a person from being able to fully disengage from whatever this sort of, and it was kind of like this stone tower is what I saw. And so you got to pick at that. And maybe this is why less is more, because if something's smaller, then you can pull through that cuff and free yourself. And I feel like that's what this Queen of Wands turns into, is the strength that comes from I'm seeing when someone gets in their head so hard, and it's like they loop and they can't get out of it, and that's air, and that's your element. So like, when you can't seemingly like adjust yourself to the environment, even though you're really good at that. And it really cares. This is also the part of a person that like really, really, really is so small. Can you see these cards in the energy? It's like they feel so small. But they're not small. And wands are spirit too, right? So someone gains, I guess, the richness of spirit. This is sort of like Aries and Capricorn right now, or Scorpio and Capricorn. So maybe that time period. I mean, this is some pretty deep shadow work. So you'd probably want to, I heard you probably want to kick at it. I saw someone kicking a rock down a dirt road. It may take a little while. So it's not something that, I didn't see someone running, right? And when you're doing that, so you don't lose your rock, so you can keep it all the way, you got to kind of be intentional. And again, this is your feet, which is Pisces. And actually, both of these are barefoot too. They have, everybody here has clothing that's comfortable. A little bit looser. It's not super tight. Oh, I see. This also has to do when you were really little. And something that you went through that was like a karma that you owed. And it's as if a person understands the lesson like that. Where they're like, okay, I needed to experience this because that's the way that it is, you know, like that's their explanation. But the experience of it still lingers. And particularly in the mind. It's almost like a person has like worked it out of their body. But now they have to, you see how she's like underground? Like and then here we move into this queen, which is then sitting on the mountaintop. So if there's a situation, I guess here's some shadow work exercise specifically in ways of where you were scared or hurt or it was like just scary. Even if you didn't acknowledge that in that time, after the fact, you're like, holy fuck, you know, because that's usually when it's really traumatizing, when like we don't even respond because we can't respond because the mind can't deal with it when it's happening. That's the positive, that can be a positive part of our unconscious, is like putting things in places until we're ready, right? Can't do it all at once. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So the point is maybe you want to go in and I don't know if you want to do some visualization work to shift that energy. Because it may be something that's like always a stinger for somebody. You know, it's kind of like, you know, God can't take all of our thorns from us because it keeps us humble, right? Our weaknesses. But you can make better boundaries with it. And I feel like that's what's been being learned. It could have, I see 5 years. There's also something 9 months from now. And in January, you'll have like a big decision. And I do see a person's faith coming back. There's more prayer around things, more intention. You're allowed to be strong. Okay. What do we have for time? Maybe that's enough. So I heard this time is an invitation. Everything does not have to be done this month. What are you working on creatively too? And I heard, and if you could have a second job, what would you do? Like, don't worry about the energy. Don't worry about your schedule right now. Just like, if you had a second job, what would you do? You don't have to worry about switching the whole mechanism around like you're scrapping something to do something else. Just, again, I see what would you do? And I do think you should make a list of talents. Because anyone that can figure out this kind of mind puzzle is extremely intelligent. Right? Because when we are the master of our own mind, then we can never be a slave to it or to anyone else. Right? We're not enslaved, we're not imprisoned to it, that 12th house. Maybe some of you have planets there, I don't know. And actually, if you're learning astrology, I'm guessing you know your sun, moon, rising. You could go to your rising and then kick back. That's your sign in your 12th house. Okay. We're going to leave that like that. I hope this was helpful, Libra. And I'm sorry that I forgot about your reading. It was a completely innocent mistake. And maybe we needed exactly to be here, in this time to be able to have this message. The stars, there was space between you and all the other signs, all these other people. But I guess again, it's spirit giving you space for something, and again, a different perspective, right? Because once time shifts, the stars move, nature changes. This is a beautiful time of mourning also. Oh, I see. Beyond the Leo reading, if you're grieving, I don't know if we mentioned that, this month could be helpful. I'm also seeing this Judgment card now. Right, the Day of the Dead just happened, so this is a time of honoring the spirit, honoring spirit specifically. Okay, I'll talk to you next time. And thanks so much. I really hope this was helpful, and yep, happy birthday. Peace.